What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what really moved, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 2.02% in the green, was able to piggyback off of a lot of the fintechs and just the growth stocks out there. Even though there wasn't all that much in news today, nor any data points coming out on a larger scope, it did do fairly well. Although a lot of volatility, so I'm going to go over that in a second, but 41.3 million for volume, 61.3 is the average. So majority of the volume that did occur today was linked to algorithmic trading as well as shorts. And it wasn't necessarily just SoFi, but algorithms were in full force today. I cover a lot of different stocks, a lot of different YouTube channels, so I see all different sectors, and all were kind of saying the exact same thing, because I always like to see exactly where volume does come from. So for instance, even though SoFi closed in the green, majority of the transactions occurring on the secondary market were sells. So this is why, again, you can kind of analyze a lot of the data, and it goes to show exactly how strong algorithmic trading is. And you never know, this might be coming down the pipeline for SoFi potentially, because I just saw on Moomoo and I think a couple other places, other brokers, you can actually set up your algorithm, like an algorithmic trading bot to trade for you. So you never know, especially with SoFi's business, like that might logically make sense. So that might be coming down the pipeline, hopefully. But regardless, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So these were kind of the culprits right here. So during this time frame, these two entities was what brought it down here. So as I brought up in the past, typically this is what is caused by just stop losses getting triggered. So in my opinion, kind of interesting day overall, but you had that nice spike up. So that's market makers covering a lot of shares, especially from last week from the call options. But today shorts did return 1.64 million shares. 14.15% of the free flow is being shorted. Works out to be 150.75 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.26, and then cost to borrow minimum, as I brought up, it's been kind of the case, I think started last Wednesday and then Friday, and then now today is cost to borrow minimum negative. So they're trying to drum up business. And similarly, like I said, I cover a lot of different stocks, and there's a couple other stocks out there similar nature. So I think there is clearly one maybe common denominator between all of them, and it's one broker trying to revive shorts. But one thing that's been really floating around on social media today is this. So a lot of entities are increasing their position in SoFi through, and you can see that through the 13Fs. 13Fs are always delayed information, so all this did occur during Q3, but even pointing out Jane Street. So in Q3, Jane Street did reduce some of their actual common stock position, but still regardless, they have 5.4 million shares. But they did a common strategy through options that a lot of entities do, and that's having both calls and puts at the same time. But just by looking at it, it goes to show that they do see significantly more upside with SoFi, because they did buy 17.5 million in calls, 7 million in puts. So we don't really see exactly the details, what strike price, expiry date, and everything, but generally speaking, that's very, very bullish. Same goes for a lot of other entities during that same time period, increasing their position through just common stock or call options. So yeah, honestly, I think the writing was on the wall that SoFi was going to break out, and same goes for right now. So a lot of bullish options are being done. 23 million in calls, 3.38 million in puts. 47% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish, and of those call options, there is a consensus for it to be above that $16 mark. So today's somewhat abnormal, because prior to today you always saw a lot of optimism around that 15. So now people are assuming it will be $16 plus. So kind of good to see. Looking at the bears, they are anticipating kind of sub 1250 by next week, 13 by this week. So in my opinion, significantly more upside. I think anyone betting against SoFi right now, or just any growth stock, is in for a lot of pain. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. It's kind of funny. So I did in my pre-market video, I always bring up SoFi, just vague technicals, things to watch for. And I did state that I did not feel that this R1 was going to be touched. And lo and behold, it did. And kind of funny, I feel like last time I said those exact words, that I do not feel that this is going to be touched. It does get touched. So maybe tomorrow I'll just say I don't feel 15 will be touched, and then we'll have a epic green day tomorrow. But regardless, with it closing at $13.93, trading between this R1 and the pivot, so it was able to get above this pivot, stay there. So 1370 will be a strong support. Flip side, 1424, 1458, and then 1513 are going to be the next strong kind of targets for SoFi. As of right now, no new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines. Technicals look very good, so it was able to stay above that ALMA, 5100 200-day moving average. So technicals still look very, very bullish. And honestly, there isn't really any data points coming out this week that is going to slow it. The only thing potentially would be, I guess, maybe manufacturing data on Friday or Nvidia's earnings on Thursday. That might spook the broader market, but SoFi seems to be on a hell-bent trajectory for it to hit that like $16+ range. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi in the comments below. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your general viewpoint on SoFi? I know a lot of people, like I've stated in my video yesterday, just a lot of people in my comments are saying that it's going to hit to like $10. I feel like those individuals are just the ones that sold out and not really just diamond handing and whatever else. I don't really like to use that phrase diamond handing because I feel like that just is a very meme topic kind of stuff, and I feel like SoFi is far from a meme, especially based on their actual operational performance and everything. So yeah, SoFi is a beast, and I think given the nature of everything, a lot of people are seeing a lot more upside. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. And just generally, do you think that shorts are going to continue to return? Just looking at what they have been doing, they have been kind of feeling the pain. So still though, $2.08 billion in shorts in SoFi still. Looks like the peak was at 19.56. That was on September the 16th. And so yeah, they've returned a good about 6% from there. So yeah, I think there is a lot more room for it to go. Once it does get to roughly around that 10% psychological short interest percentage, then I think SoFi, that's where you'll see the 20s and plus. That's just my own opinion. Not really sure on a time frame. Logically, I would assume somewhere in the second half of 2025, but that's just a rough guess. But don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, I did launch a Patreon. So if you are looking for buy signals, stocks, options, and crypto, then definitely pop over there and take a look. They have been absolutely killing it, all of my kind of trades and stuff like that. So definitely worth a quick pop over to take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.